Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another free online lesson. Okay, with me today, I'm Hakim from Acad Systems, and today our topic will be on Autodesk 3ds Max, and we're going to look at how to model a door. Okay, so 3ds Max also are widely used by architectural firm for modeling and also visualizing. Okay, if compared to Revit, I can say 3ds Max is more fluid in how they can model, not as rigid as Revit, and that is why 3ds Max is also popularly used by animation films or gaming films and also character modelings. Okay, so without further ado, I will jump to 3ds Max. So I have 3ds Max open here. Okay, but before that, I would like to show you in AutoCAD, I have a simple layout drawing like this, a floor plan drawing, a simple floor plan that we will be using in our 3ds Max. So I will import this DWG file into 3ds Max. Okay, so here, so in 3ds Max, you have these 4 ports, right? So you can click alternate W to maximize the active port. Okay, and then just hit alternate W again to get to the default 4 viewports. Okay. So I'll just open up the perspective. And then to import first, I will go to File. From our ribbon, go to File, Import, and Import again. Click. So bring up this dialog box, you will browse to your DWG file location. So I save it on my desktop here and click open. Okay, so it will bring up this dialog box. So it will say here incoming file units. You have to make sure it's in the correct unit. Okay, so I know the AutoCAD that I drawn previously was set in millimeters. So here I should check this is millimeters as well. Then click OK. Right. So we'll bring it into our 3ds Max. Okay, another thing that you might have to set before you import it is you go to customize from your ribbon, go to customize, and then unit setup. Okay, so because I've been using this 3ds Max and I know for sure that I've set this to millimeters, so I just straight away import it just now. Okay, but maybe if you're a new user, you might want to check this. What is the current unit that are being used in your 3ds Max? So here you can choose, for example, metric and then millimeters. Okay, but this one is actually a display unit scale. You also want to click here, system unit setup. Okay, here you also want to change this to match with your display. Okay, so here I change this to millimeters. And it's advisable to have both at same unit. Okay, so just click OK again and OK. So just to make sure that there's no problem with my drawing here, I would like to measure the thickness of this wall because I know it is 270. Okay, so how do we measure? You can go to tools from your ribbon, tools, and go down until you find measure distance. Okay, and click here And then you can point at one point. Okay. Now when I'm trying to point, it doesn't snap to the vertex of this wall, right? So I have to activate the snapping first. Okay. So from the ribbon up here, this logo is the snap toggle. Okay. First, you right click on it first. It will bring up the grid and snapping settings. So just make sure that at least you have vertex, endpoint, and midpoint on, at least for this exercise. Okay, you can see there are a bunch of other options as well. You can turn that on. Okay, and then that one is the options that you have, but to turn it on, you have to left click on it. It will be highlighted like this. So now when you do the measure distance, you should be able to snap to the vertex of this line or the endpoint. So just click here and click here, the other endpoint. Okay. So it says here, distance 27 mm. Okay. The measurement are displayed at the bottom left of your screen. So 27 mm. So it's not right. So I have to redo this. I have to re-import. And before we re-import, I have to make sure that the units are correct. So again, just go to customize unit setup. Just make sure this in mm. Both are mm. Okay. File. Go to import. Import. And select your DWG. Open. Here should be millimeters as well. And click OK. Right. Now I have the snapping turned on. And I want to measure this. Okay, now it's going to 270 mm. So that now I can confirm that this drawing is at the right scale. Okay. Or another method that I usually use to measure is I can go to from our create panel here. You can go to this helpers and then you click tape. Under standard, you select tape. Okay. And then this one, after you click tape, you click at your one point and the other point. Okay. So here, as you do that, it will also show you the measurement here under the parameters. So 270. Okay, so you can use both ways to measure your distances. Okay, now before I place in I create the doors, I would like to have some walls first. Okay, so from here, make sure you are at the create and then change this to geometry. So the first one. And then from standard primitives, you change to AEC extended. Okay, and then you will have foliage, railing, and wall as the options. So take wall. Okay, and then you have to input the parameters first. The width of our wall here is 270, and the height I want to make it 3000. All of these are in mm. Okay, currently the justification is from the center. Okay, I would like to use either left or right because we don't have the center line of our wall here. So I take left and try to test it out. Okay. So it shouldn't be there. I'm using left, it should be from here. Okay. So you can just go along our plan drawing. You don't have to stop at the door openings because that will be created automatically later. Okay, and then while creating this wall, you can also press alternate X to have your wall kind of in a half tone. So you can see the lines a bit clearer. Okay. Okay. If, for example, you've made a mistake and you didn't exactly click at where it should be, for example, you misclick here, and then you want to kind of delete that part because it was continuous, this wall. So you can just press backspace. Okay, press backspace and continue with the correct position until you find the starting point. Okay, click here. So when you made the starting point, it will ask us, do you want a weld point? So you can just click yes, and then you can click escape. Basically, you are done with the wall, and you can press alternate X to kind of see the walls in the default mode. Okay, but you can always go back and click, make sure the walls are selected, and press alternate X. Okay, so you can toggle between these two visuals. Okay, then comes to the door. Okay, to create the door from your create panel here, so make sure you are in create and then geometry. From AEC extended, we change to doors. Okay, and for doors, you have three options: pivot, sliding, and bifold. Okay, so I will first do for this door, it's a pivot door. Okay, click here. And I will just make sure that the creation method is width, depth, and then height. This is how I usually go. And then for the parameters, I don't want to bother setting up the parameters now. So I'll just go ahead and create the door first. So from this point, I click and drag. Go to this second point to have the width of the door. Okay, and then you let go of your mouse. And then now we are doing the depth, right? Okay, so here, click. And lastly, we are doing the height. So just bring it up to a random height. We will set it later. So that 3 steps process are exactly how we set it in our creation method, which is width, then depth, and then height, right? Okay. So now I want to make some changes. I want to set the height to 2 meters, for example. So I can change it here. There's a height parameter. Sorry, 2000. Okay, and then you can see it reflects here. But if given that you probably have accidentally clicked escape and you no longer see that parameters value, right? So what you can do is you select the object, the door, and then you go to modify. From your panel on the right, you go to modify. Here you can still see it will bring up the parameters for you to adjust. Okay, so I have adjusted the height to the height that I want. And then what I want to do with this is I want to flip the hinge. Okay, before I flip, maybe I will add some degrees to the opening just to know where is my door leaf located. Okay, so now this door is swings inside. Okay, but according to our drawing here, it should be swinging outwards, right? So I can just click flip swing. Okay, yeah, here flip swing. You see it flips on the interior or the exterior side. Okay, and I have the hinge at the correct position. If it doesn't, you can also flip the hinge. Okay, so very easy. And then you have the door frame. Currently, my door frame is looking very thin. So I can also set the frame here. So for example, like 40 mm. Okay, this is the door frame. And now for the door leaf, I can also set this, maybe 30. Okay, or maybe I will do it 40 as well. Okay, you see as I add the value and press enter, it will correspond to in our model here. Okay, so currently I'm using the leaf as a panel of a glass panel. You can also add in the thickness of the panel. Okay, but if you don't want, if this is just a normal door, you can check none. Okay, so it's just pretty straightforward from there. Okay, now I want to show you how to create double doors. So the method similar. This is also a pivot door. So I will draw this door first. From this point to this point. Okay, because I said just now, door has the open degree value. So this one will also follow. Okay, I just put it at a random height. And then for this door, what's different is, okay, we set the height as well, 2100. Okay, you have to check on double doors as well. Okay, click here, double doors. So now you have these double doors. You can open the swing to 90 degrees. Okay. And then this has to be flipped. Okay, where's the flip here? Okay, so now it's flipped inwards. And then if you want to change the number of the thickness of your leaf, you can do this under this leaf parameters. Okay. Next, I want to show you how about this type of door. Okay, so this will be a bifold door. So again, from your on the left side of your screen, on the right side, sorry, make sure you are in create geometry doors and select bifold. The method are pretty similar. Click here, and then you create the width, depth, and then height. So normally the height, I will just do it randomly. And then later I will set the value here. Okay, just type in 2100. Okay, so you check it out. I would usually make the door open. Okay, so I can see exactly if it's the kind of door that we want. Okay, but now It's not, because it should be from the left and right side. So now I have to turn on double doors as well. Okay. And then only I get it. And I will also have to flip the swing. Okay. I think this is better. Okay. Just in case, if it creates only one panel, or you have more than two panels here, you can scroll down under the leaf parameters. You can set the number of panel here. So currently it's 1. Let's see what happens if I put in 2. Okay. So what happens is, at this single panel, they create another panel inside. Right? You can see it's divided into 2 now. Maybe I will increase the thickness a little bit so it's visible. Yeah. See, when I add in another panel here, this one is horizontally. And if I put the value in panels vertical, I say 3, for example. So it divides this into 3. Okay. So pretty simple. So next, I will also include on how you create these windows, because it's pretty similar. Okay. What you have to do is still create in geometry, but instead of doors, you change to windows. Okay. And for windows, basically we have 6 type of windows that you can do. So for example, I'll just show you one of them. You take casement, because the methods are almost the same. Okay, you click here, create the width, go to the depth, click, and then height. Okay, just create it at a random height. Okay, now I change the value for height, maybe 1,200. Okay, maybe 1,600. Right, width and depth is okay. Okay, I can also increase the frame width. Okay, I'll just turn it up. As you can see, this thing corresponds. Okay, and then you can add in the glazing thickness. Okay, maybe the casement. Right now it's 1, it's set to 1. The panel is only 1, you can set to 2. Okay, and then you can kind of have your window open. Okay, if it's not on the correct side, you can flip. Okay, so more or less the same options we have here as we have it on our door earlier, right? Okay, so you just go through this, and then we will add some height to our window. Okay, because right now it's sitting at the floor level. So I select, I press escape first. I select my window, and then to move it up, you click this move icon from your ribbon up here. Okay, it will bring up this gizmo. Okay, you can try to use this gizmo to move it up, but it's hard to get to move accurately at the z-axis. So a better way is from the bottom of your screen, you can see the x, y, and z value. So you change it at the z value, put in 900, enter, and then your window will move up by exactly 900 mm. Okay, so you will continue that process for the rest of the windows. Okay, maybe I want to show you also how to create the floor, just to kind of complete this exercise. First, I will bring our wall to the default visuals. Okay, so I select my wall and then alternate X. Okay, right, and then I hit alternate W. I go to my top view. Okay, I click on the top view, viewport, and then alternate W. Okay, to maximize that viewport. And then floors, I would usually create lines first, for the perimeter of our floor plan here. So make sure you're in create, but instead of geometry, you change to shapes. Okay, change to shapes, and then make sure you are in spline and take line. Okay, so from the top view, you can kind of see it better. You can also do it in 3D, but from the top view will be much easier. So you just follow along the perimeter of your house. Okay. Okay, and then once you meet the starting point, it will ask us, do you want to close this spline? So yes. And then again, I will hit alternate W, go to the 3D view, alternate W. Sorry, alternate W. All right. Okay, so where is the line just now? So it's actually here. Most likely, yeah, it will end up here. So you have to select the line. Okay, I'll just go back here. Try to select the line. Okay, now it's selected. Then what I can do is I go to modifier, mesh editing, and then extrude. Okay, so that will extrude our line and it will create like a floor, right? And then you can add the thickness at the amount here. So I'll make it 150. Enter. Okay, but the problem is it's creating this floor at our supposed ceiling, right? So to bring it down, similar method, just click move from your ribbon here. And then you can see the height Z on the Z value here is 3000. You change this to 0 first. Okay, so that brings it down. Maybe we need an offset using the thickness of your floor. So put -150 here at the Z value. Okay, so that will bring it down by 150. And then we have our floors, right? So that's it for our topic for today on 3ds Max. I hope you learned something valuable today. And if you haven't tried 3ds Max, you should give it a try. There's a lot more things that you can do with 3ds Max. The modeling technique is very complex, but the results very good. Okay, so Thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you in the next lesson.